Okay, picture this. You're out driving for Uber or Lyft in California, and suddenly, for the first time ever, you might actually get a real voice in how this whole thing works. Yep, drivers might soon be able to unionize while still being independent contractors. That's a huge shift. But here's the kicker. It's not perfect. So let's talk about what's really going on. Hey friends, welcome back. This is Kim. Today, I want to break down this brand new deal California lawmakers just struck with Uber and Lyft. If you drive or just follow the gig economy, this is a big one. I'm going to cover exactly what the deal is, if food delivery drivers are included, and what it could mean for better pay and protections, and of course, the downsides nobody's really talking about. California's been in this tug-of-war with gig companies for years. You may remember AB 5 back in 2019. That was supposed to make a lot of contractors into employees. Then Prop 22 came along in 2020, and that basically locked in Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and others, which kept drivers as independent contractors, with a few benefits sprinkled in. The problem was that Prop 22 blocked drivers from forming unions. No bargaining, no real voice. Fast forward to now, September 2025. Lawmakers have struck a new deal, mainly through two new bills, AB 1340 and SB 371. AB 1340 lets Uber and Lyft rideshare drivers unionize and actually bargain collectively with the companies, even though they're still contractors. To get a union recognized, drivers have to gather signatures from at least 10% of active drivers and then petition the state board. SB 371 came in alongside it, which is pushed by the gig economy platforms. It lowers certain insurance requirements, which Uber and Lyft say drives down costs for everyone. And here's the part a lot of people are asking, does this cover food delivery drivers like DoorDash, Instacart, Uber Eats? Nope. Right now, it's just rideshare. The folks driving passengers, not food or packages. Why drivers might like it? On the positive side, this is huge. It means drivers could finally negotiate over things like pay rates, how complaints are handled, maybe even rules around unfair deactivations. For years, drivers have basically been at the mercy of these apps. Another plus. This is being called the biggest expansion of collective bargaining rights in California's private sector history. I'll say that fast a few times. So it could be a model for other states. And about this insurance rollback that the gig platforms pushed, in theory, if companies save money, it could keep fares from skyrocketing or prevent them from cutting driver pay any further. Well, that's the hope anyway. Okay, but here's the catch. Of course, there are some real limits. Drivers are still independent contractors, which means no guaranteed hourly wage for all the time you're online, no paid sick leave, no unemployment benefits. Those employee protections still will not apply. Also, there's the question about what exactly unions will be able to bargain over. Some things might be completely off the table, like full pay for idle time, like when you're waiting for a ride, and it may block the right to strike. That's not really clear at this point. And then there's the exclusion of delivery drivers. That's a huge slice of the gig economy left out. Food delivery folks face the same challenges, but they're not in this deal. Finally, let's be honest. Just because Uber and Lyft are saving money on insurance doesn't mean the drivers are going to see any of that. Companies might just pocket the savings. So it's definitely worth being skeptical. So will this be a game changer? I think it's a step forward, but it's not the end of the story. It gives drivers a path to have a real voice, which is something good. But whether it actually changes paychecks, working conditions, and fairness, that's going to come down to how strong the unions are and how these first negotiations go. It's progress, but it's also a compromise. What do you think? If you're driving Uber or Lyft, does this feel like a win, or does it not go far enough? And if you're a delivery driver, do you feel left out? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you found this information helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, share this information with others who you might think could use it. And I'm going to keep bringing updates as I see them on this information. Thanks so much for clicking, and we'll see you next time.